American Airlines Flight 2016, a story of survival and heroism. Introduction. On January 12, 2016, American Airlines Flight 2016, a Boeing 737-800, prepared for its journey from Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, DFW. It was an ordinary winter day in Los Angeles, with clear skies and moderate temperatures. The flight was scheduled to cover the 1,200 miles in approximately 3 hours. Carrying 145 passengers and 6 crew members, Flight 2016 was just one of many flights crossing the country that day, yet what unfolded mid-flight would turn this journey into a remarkable story of survival and courage. Pre-flight preparations. In the bustling terminal of LAX, the passengers of Flight 2016 completed final boarding preparations, unaware of the unexpected journey ahead. Among the travelers were families, business professionals, and individuals returning home after the holidays. The cabin crew, led by Captain Michael Richards, an experienced pilot with over 15 years of flying, and First Officer Sarah Lee, was busy conducting routine checks. Flight attendants secured luggage, performed safety checks, and greeted passengers with warm smiles. Despite the usual pre-flight nerves, there was an air of excitement and calm inside the cabin. The flight's smooth, well-orchestrated start gave everyone a sense of assurance. Takeoff and initial climb. With final checks completed and a green light from air traffic control, Captain Richards taxied the Boeing 737-800 to the runway. Within moments, the engines roared and the aircraft lifted into the clear California sky. As it climbed through the clouds, the city below grew smaller, and passengers settled in for the ride. Little did they know, turbulent skies awaited them just ahead. After leveling off, the seatbelt sign turned off, and passengers removed their seatbelts, relaxing into their seats with the expectation of a routine journey. In-flight service and relaxation. The cabin crew soon began in-flight service, offering beverages, snacks, and comfort to passengers. The atmosphere was lively, with conversations filling the cabin as people enjoyed their snacks, read, or watched in-flight entertainment. The crew moved efficiently, ensuring every passenger's needs were met, while passengers relaxed and enjoyed the steady hum of the engines. By all appearances, it was a smooth, comfortable flight. However, at the front of the aircraft, Captain Richards and First Officer Lee noticed a small blip on their radar. The unexpected crisis. Around 45 minutes into the flight, the aircraft unexpectedly hit severe turbulence as it encountered a powerful storm front that had gone undetected in earlier weather reports. The plane suddenly lurched, sending drinks and items flying as passengers held onto their armrests in shock. Turbulence is a common experience for many travelers, but this was no ordinary boat. The plane shuddered violently, and the fasten seatbelt sign flicked on as Captain Richards' steady voice came over the intercom, asking everyone to remain seated and calm. The sudden drop in altitude was terrifying as the plane pitched forward, leaving a weightless feeling that unnerved everyone on board. The crew quickly went into action, securing loose items and assisting any passengers who looked particularly frightened. Flight attendants, despite their own fears, reassured passengers and directed everyone to remain seated and belted. Meanwhile, in the cockpit, the pilots tried to find a way to regain stability, closely monitoring all instruments as the plane's flight path was altered by high winds. Communicating with air traffic control. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Captain Richards radioed air traffic control, requesting a change in altitude in an attempt to navigate out of the turbulent zone. Despite their training, the intensity of the turbulence was unlike anything they had experienced before. A few minutes later, Flight 2016's crew managed to climb to a higher altitude, which offered a brief respite. Yet the situation remained critical as the weather continued to worsen, and they soon found themselves in the heart of the storm once more. ATC in Burbank recommended an emergency landing at Bob Hope Airport. The pilots accepted, recognizing that the storm's unpredictable severity made continuing to DFW far too risky. Preparing for an emergency landing, the decision was made to divert to Bob Hope Airport in Burbank. Captain Richards once again addressed the passengers, informing them that, due to adverse weather conditions, they would be making an emergency landing at Burbank. He kept his tone calm and steady, encouraging passengers to follow all safety instructions. In the cabin, the flight attendants donned their safety vests and took their positions, instructing passengers to stow their belongings and prepare for the emergency landing. Some passengers gripped their armrests, exchanging anxious glances with those beside them. Passengers were visibly shaken, but the cabin crew moved quickly and efficiently, demonstrating the emergency procedures and making sure everyone was as prepared as possible. The reality of the situation had set in this landing was not routine, and every passenger could feel the tension in the air. The heart-stopping descent and landing as the aircraft descended through turbulent skies, the passengers experienced a roller coaster sensation as the plane shook and dipped. Through the cockpit window, Captain Richards and First Officer Lee saw the distant lights of Burbank's runway approaching. They prepared for what they anticipated would be a rough landing, knowing that the high winds and rainfall would make it challenging. The cabin was silent, each passenger bracing for impact, following every instruction from the crew. The landing gear deployed and the plane descended rapidly, breaking through the final layer of clouds. Then, in an expertly controlled maneuver, Captain Richards touched the Boeing 737 down on the wet runway. The wheels screeched as the aircraft skidded, with brakes applied firmly to bring it to a stop on the shortened runway. For a moment, there was complete silence. Then, passengers burst into applause, an emotional release after the high-stakes descent. Many hugged each other and whispered words of relief, thankful to have landed safely. The emergency response on the ground after the plane came to a halt. Emergency responders who had been awaiting its arrival swiftly approached the aircraft. Paramedics boarded, prepared to help anyone in distress, while ground staff assisted passengers as they disembarked. American Airlines personnel were present to support passengers, providing blankets, refreshments, and counseling to those who needed it. The passengers were visibly relieved, but many were shaken by the ordeal. Some openly wept as they recounted the turbulent flight, while others thanked the crew for their composure and bravery. Reactions of the passengers and crew. The passengers of Flight 2016 shared stories and exchanged phone numbers, feeling a newfound bond from the shared experience. Some were still shaken, others praised the crew's exceptional response, and many simply wanted to contact loved ones to let them know they were safe. Crew members gathered, debriefing with officials, grateful that their training had prepared them for a situation that had demanded their utmost strength and composure. The flight attendants, despite their own fears, had managed to keep calm, knowing that their professionalism was vital for the safety of everyone on board. Conclusion: a testament to aviation safety and human resilience. American Airlines Flight 2016 became a story of resilience, illustrating the remarkable skill and calmness of aviation professionals who worked tirelessly to ensure the safety of their passengers. The actions of Captain Richards, First Officer Lee, and the entire crew demonstrated the courage that defines so many in the airline industry. The passengers, too, displayed incredible composure, leaning on each other for comfort during moments of true terror. This flight serves as a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the dedication of those in aviation who make air travel safer every day.